Good evening, good evening. Red Lion ESV, and welcome to another installment of the Lion Share podcast. Now, this here, Black Male Media, this actually should have been broken up into Umar, Boyce, and Kwame brand. This can all be broken up into different videos, but due to being pressed for time, I think I'm just gonna have to do one video, and I'm just gonna have to break this apart piece by piece. So first and foremost, let's get to Umar Johnson and his quote unquote attack on the black manosphere. First and foremost, I always thought homie was a dashiki wearing bozo, but that's just my opinion. I mean, obviously this is my podcast, so of course my opinion. But I always looked at it like I'm not sure how far you're supposed to make it when you're asking him, well, pretty much begging for donations. Now don't get it twisted. I think Umar did have some very valid points as it relates to, black boys and the lack of education, the lack of resources allocated to black boys, in general. But once you start doing the whole, well, let's be real. Once you start talking about that Hotep stuff, and you already know how gynocentric that is, it's difficult to take homie serious. It really is. And I'll be the first to tell you, you know what I mean. If you see a chick with the dirt, you know what I mean? The dirty Chuck Taylor wearing, incense burning, you know, uh uh I want to call it a kufi, but you know what I mean, the headscarf and the whole 9 yards, you already know like this person is they're just gonna be twisted. Mentally and everything that they do is just gonna be completely twisted. Now don't get me wrong. I may not have always been the most religious person, Christianity, Islam, whole 9 yards, the traditional stuff. That may not have always been the case. But I already know once you start dealing with I'm praying to the ancestors and this, that, and the third, I'll be the first to tell you a lot of that stuff is just a cop out because they don't want to be accountable for anything that they do. So it's like, oh, I'm going to pray to the ancestors and, I'm going to burn sage. And if you look at all of that stuff, they still going to go out and make a horrible decision. And I'm saying this from experience. I want to say at least, let me not exaggerate. I have probably at least 3 exes I can think of off the top of my head that were either a witch, a Wiccan, or is probably stabbing a voodoo doll with my likeness right now. Shout out to the Haitians, man. I got love for y'all, but one of y'all got to go. You feel me? You need to come pick up one of your countrymen or countrywomen and take them back with you because they definitely own one. But as for Umar, I already knew what it was, man. Once you start seeing black men refuse to take a knee, once you start to see them, pardon me, once you see them decide that, enough is enough, we're tired of our image being mud, we're tired of, well, your mama black and your aunties and you have all the women around you, the women that you date, etc., and everybody just wants you to take a knee. Nobody wants you to do what's in your own best interest, where you're constantly being a sacrificial lamb and you get nothing out of it. And then you turn around and go, well, it's pro-black to do like, okay, well, you know what? Let me be pro-me then. Because if it's pro-black to continue to live in these communities that look the way that they look, and you want me to double back and sacrifice and get nothing out of it, then I guess I can't be pro-black. Let me be pro-me, and let me see how that works out. So I already knew what type of time Umar was on. The dirty dozen or the 12, whatever, like whatever. I already knew what it was. I'm like, oh, I get it. You getting mad because we sucking up the oxygen in the room. You know what I mean? We're not taking a knee, bro. And as for the conscious stripper thing, I'm not even gonna violate. I'm not even gonna step on, your sexual preferences. If you want to deal with, you know, extra thick strippers with, eyes tattooed on their chests and the Ankh and pyramids and Nefertiti and, I'm getting a naked, voluptuous, Aphrodite tattooed on you somewhere, knock yourself out. But ultimately, for all that stuff that they have going on, what is the end game? Ah, exactly. Unmarried, kids out of wedlock, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'll get enough clout. Maybe I'll end up on that list somewhere, man. I could definitely use the Cash App and I could definitely use, some of the bread that's gonna come from that. But that's what Umar, he's a bozo. We already know what it is. We gonna, you know what I mean? We just gonna move forward. Now, on to Dr. Boyce Watkins. And that's my guy, man. I actually like Boyce, you know what I mean? Money wise. Money wise. But just like the homie Dr. Umar, two doctors, right? They both have the same issue. You know what I mean? Both of them are some simpletons. Everyone uses the word simp, they overuse it, they beat it into the ground. But both of them are some simpletons. And that's what happened with Boyce. Same thing, attacking on the black manosphere. Which, even though I don't have a lot of content up, I would like to believe I'm also part, of the black manosphere. So I already knew what type of time Boyce was going to be on. Oh, these men, and they're going with the women, and, we need to, these single mothers and this, that, and the third. I'll be the first to tell you, I dodged a child bullet. I'm 36 years old. I dodged a child bullet for 35 years. I had my first child. You understand? So all that, y'all out here having a bunch of babies, and that is completely false. We've already looked at the numbers. Half of black men don't even have children. And I will be the first to tell my son or anybody else, it is not a good investment to deal with single mothers. Point blank, period. We already know this. We could even, you know what? For the sake of argument, I'll throw it out there. Woman has a child, her child becomes her first priority. It's not personal. She's being a good mother. She's going to make sure her child is straight. Boom. Then she has her own needs. Boom. Then if she has family, especially in the gynocracy, she's going to have grandma, mama, etc., etc. So somewhere in there, you probably going to be last on the list. You, Dwayne Wade, son, you are going to be last on that list in terms of priorities. So you are just going to be at the bottom. Screw it. You are going to be at the bottom. And I don't think that's a good deal for any black man, especially if you're getting your life together or if you have your life together. Why would you want to be last on the depth chart? Who signs up for that? Who signs up to be dead last? And I don't care if a doctor says it. I don't care if your mama said it, your daddy, your uncle. You do not deserve to be dead last if you're the one handling your business. You know the philosophy, what you kill, you keep. I mean for that to rhyme, but that's what you got. If you kill if what you kill, you keep. So if you put the work in, you put the effort in, education, financially, you're making investments, you're taking yourself to the gym, you're being the best person or version that you can be, why would you want to be last? Why would you want to wait for, look at his situation. And that's not to disparage his wife or how she looks or whatever the case may be, but just look at the particulars. She waited, she curved him, declined his advances, whichever term you want to use, had children, and then decided, you know what, he probably is an okay guy. And she married him dead last. Now you're looking at a black man who is a doctor, makes his own money, has his own, his own business thing going. And yet the best he could do is, even at his age, a woman who has children by different men or different man, and that's the best he could do. She finally turned around and saw the light. No. And that is what the manosphere is for. It's not just about bashing and, degrading women. That's not the case. That is not the case at all. Simply put, it's open. The quote unquote red pill is that awareness, opening your eyes, looking at every situation and going, is this a good investment or a bad investment? And I'm actually ashamed at you, Dr. Boyce Watkins. You deal with money. You deal with investments. ROI, return on investment. What is the return on investment of dealing with a single mother? What is the return on that? Now, are there some rare instances where that can go play well into your favor? Absolutely. But in most cases, it's not. I've been there, been in those shoes. Stepfathers get stepped on. I've been in those shoes. I've done it, let me not exaggerate, at least twice, minimum. Because you know me, I'm a firm believer. If you don't know me, of course, I'm a firm believer in giving something a shot. The good old college try. And then I'll do it again to make sure the first time wasn't a fluke. I did it at least twice. Horrible, horrible decision. Fellas, don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it alone. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? Now, as for Kwame, he may be a little misguided, but then again, you're talking about 20 years of getting stepped on. Point blank period. No person is going to stick around that long to be marginalized and vilified on national television. But if you look at the way he played it smooth. What was he supposed to do? Go against Jordan? Jordan would have crushed him. Jordan's a billionaire. He'd have crushed him then. He'd crush him now. So he played his part. I mean, you can look at it and go, mama's boy, mama's cooking, etc. I mean, you can take that either way. But ultimately, he's a representative of, black male media, black imagery. You get tired of your name being mud. You get tired of people trying to disparage you and, assassinate your character, mess with your name. Your name means something. Your children got to come up under your name. That's if, of course, you want children or you want a legacy. And as a matter of fact, even if you don't want those things and you just want to run a successful business, your name means something. Your name has to mean something. And that's what you have. Now, of course, it's comedy. It's a lot of cursing. I laugh, country boy, I laugh, Geechee. But with that being said, all he's doing is fighting back. And I think that's a representative of what this space really means. I mean, once we get past, the whole, the back and forth with the gynocracy and, the little, the little subliminals and the jabs we throw at each other and, some of the back and forth knucklehead stuff. Once you get past that, all this is doing, this space is raising awareness. It's making you more mindful of what's going on around you. What's actually, I'll be perfectly honest with you, with this space, it's helped me unpack a lot of stuff that I've been through. I'll give you a perfect example. The first time I listened to BGS, I said, wow, okay, this confirms it. I'm not crazy. I may have some weird coping mechanisms, but I'm not crazy. And I'm pretty sure when people are looking at Kwame Brown, they're definitely pumping their fists in the air like, you damn right. You gonna stop playing with my name. Okay, I'm a bust, but I'm not crazy. You see these gatekeepers, you see the way these people are, oh, okay, cool. So you have a problem with doing allegedly what happened with Charlamagne the God and that girl and whatever they have on paper. How are you still working in Me Too culture? How are you still working? And this is actually deep. I actually left off Joe Budden. You know what? I'm gonna make a separate video for Joe Budden, man. Because the East Coast is looking crazy right now. But ultimately, man, that's what we got, man. You got to protect your image out here. Shout out to the Godfather, Kevin Samuels and all that. He's not the first to put it out there, but he's definitely at the forefront. But, brothers, fellas, now it's time to protect your image, man. Protect your name. Stop letting people play with you like that. I'm doing it. I'm definitely on it. You're going to stop playing with us, man. And the manosphere is just going to continue to grow and get bigger and better. We have already added, some financials to this stuff. You got doctors in this space. We officially have our own media. We don't have to go to television to get our media because we're going to get the truth right here. And that's just the way we're going to do it from now on, man. But I think I've rambled on enough, man. Red Lion ESV, as always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. More coming, man. As always, be safe. Peace and love, y'all. I'll holler.